A city covered in shadows. The chill of dawn cuts through to the bone. Among damp cardboard and a dying fire, a lone homeless man trembles beneath a tattered blanket. Then the unexpected happens. A roar of an engine breaks the silence. A man on two wheels stops, exhausted, vulnerable. And that homeless man, who has nothing, decides to give away the only thing that protects him from the winter. No one could imagine what would happen at sunrise, when 300 engines would awaken the entire city. The camera slides slowly through a damp alley, where the echo of drops falling from a rusted roof accompanies the murmur of the night. The walls, covered in faded graffiti, seem to whisper forgotten stories, like ghosts that refuse to disappear. The ground is littered with wet cardboard and bags dragged by the wind. In the middle of this desolate landscape appears Thomas. His coat, old and torn, barely shields him from the cold. An unkempt beard covers a face where traces of another life can still be guessed. Lines of effort, scars of invisible battles. His shoes, worn down to the limit, tell the long road he has traveled searching for a place to belong. Thomas was not always the homeless man in the alley. There was a time when he had a warm home, a table filled with laughter, and dreams that once seemed within reach. But tragedy after tragedy tore it all away. The loss of his job, the collapse of his family, and finally, the silence of the streets as his only company. Now his routine is reduced to surviving with the little he can find. Scraps of food, recycled bottles, a corner to sleep away from danger. His hands tremble, not only from the cold, but from the daily fight between resignation and hope. And yet, in the midst of the darkness, something has not died. In his lost gaze, sometimes a faint spark appears. That weak, almost invisible glow reminds him that he is still human, that he still has a heart capable of feeling and of giving, even though he has nothing left of his own. That spark, so small, would soon be the light that would ignite a storm impossible to ignore. The icy wind cuts through the streets like invisible blades. The streetlights flicker, casting intermittent flashes over puddles that tremble with every gust. Thomas curls up among his cardboard, seeking shelter, when suddenly a sound breaks the monotony of the night. A metallic roar growing, deep, relentless. The echoes of the engine bounce off the alley walls as if a monster of steel was approaching. And then, from the shadows, the figure appears. A lone biker, with a leather jacket hardened by time, and a helmet reflecting the lights like a dark mirror. His walk is heavy, exhaustion etched in every movement. The man turns off the bike with a slow gesture and lets it rest, as if it too were exhausted after miles of road. The biker removes his helmet. His face emerges, hardened,
marked by scars that speak of fights, falls, endless nights of asphalt. His eyes seem loaded with stories no one would dare to ask. With a faltering step, he drops against a wall, as if the cold and fatigue were defeating him. His breathing is heavy. Vapor escapes his mouth like smoke in the darkness. Thomas watches him in silence. In that instant, he sees something familiar: vulnerability. The leather, the powerful machine that brought him here, it doesn't matter. That man also trembles under the same cold, the same abandonment he knows all too well. Then, the unthinkable happens. Thomas takes his blanket, his only protection against the night, and without hesitation places it over the stranger's shoulders. The biker lifts his gaze, surprised. For a few seconds, time stops. Neither says a word. Neither needs to. In that frozen air, in that forgotten alley, a silent pact is born. An invisible gesture that binds two broken men from different paths, now linked by humanity. An unexpected brotherhood, forged in an instant and sealed in silence.
The city still sleeps when a strange echo begins to sweep through the streets. At first, it sounds like a distant thunder, a metallic murmur confused with the wind. But little by little, that murmur grows until it becomes a vibration that rattles the window glass and shakes the ground beneath their feet. Thomas opens his eyes. He slowly rises, confused, as the roar multiplies, as if an invisible army was approaching from all directions. And then they appear. First a dozen, then 100, then 200, 300 motorcycles flooding the main avenue like an unstoppable tide of steel and fire. The headlights pierce the dawn with white and yellow flashes like lightning in the darkness. The exhausts thunder, making the asphalt vibrate, and the wheels pound the pavement like war drums. The roar is deafening, but it is not chaos. It is savage order, perfect, almost ceremonial. The city wakes in shock. Curtains are thrown open, neighbors peer out in disbelief, cars stop dead, and dogs bark madly. No one understands what is happening. No one except Thomas, who stands frozen in the middle of the street, as if the entire world revolved around him. The motorcycles form a circle, blocking every path. The smell of fuel hangs in the air, mixed with the cold vapor. And then the roar dies all at once. Silence. A silence so thick it cuts the breath. 300 eyes, hardened by the road, fix upon a single man, the homeless one. Thomas cannot believe it. His hands tremble. His eyes search for an explanation. But in that army of steel, there is no fear. There is respect, admiration. The gesture of a single night, that blanket given in silence, had ignited something more powerful than any weapon or any speech. It had united an entire brotherhood. In a world where indifference has become routine, where thousands of eyes pass by without noticing the pain of others, a single act of kindness was enough to break the chain of oblivion. Thomas, that man lost in the shadows of the city, proved that even someone who seems to have nothing carries within him an invaluable treasure, the ability to give. His blanket,
worn and humble, became a symbol far greater than any wealth. The bikers, men forged on endless highways, hardened by battles both visible and invisible, understood it instantly. They, who were so often seen as outcasts, recognized in Thomas the spark of humanity that still survives. Selfless loyalty, brotherhood born without asking for anything in return, respect for the one who dares to give when all seems lost. That day, the city witnessed something unforgettable. A homeless man ceased to be an anonymous face in an alley and became a banner of dignity and hope. Because true strength is not in what we possess, but in what we are capable of offering, even in the coldest night. The wheels left tracks that no rain will ever erase, because that dawn reminded us of a truth many have forgotten. It doesn't matter what you have, but what you are capable of giving. And sometimes a gesture as small as a blanket can awaken 300 engines of steel and 1,000,000 sleeping hearts. If you want to discover more hidden stories of the road, brotherhood, and life itself, subscribe now. Don't miss what's coming.